for most movie podcasts or like nerd podcasts, like nerd culture, you would think the Avengers Doomsday trailer featuring the X-Men would lead off, but that's not how we roll here at TDI. We are the Batman first. Ricky Flex, will we have it any other way?
No, this is the Drive-In podcast, but our secondary name is the Batman podcast. So let's have at it.
We were talking about, hey, let's do a reaction to the new trailer for Avengers Doomsday. Let's put it on YouTube, and then we'll add it to the end of Friday's episode, or just insert it somewhere on Friday's episode. But once Sebastian Stan was reportedly in talks to play a role in the Batman Part 2, that's when I just get the text from you, dude, ... And that means we are dropping an episode. So Sebastian Stan is in talks for the Batman Part 2. The source here is Deadline. This is the newest addition to Matt Reeves' epic crime saga following the reported casting of Scarlett Johansson. It appears that both actors are just in talks right now, but more or less they're going to be in the Batman Part 2. So Ricky, let's start here. We always jump the gun. We jumped the gun with Scarlett Johansson. We saw her on Twitter or X with a still next to Pattinson. And we're like, oh my God, here comes the Phantasm. Not necessarily. It's rumored that she's going to be playing Gilda Dent. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but Ricky, is Sebastian Stan playing who we think he is?
This podcast has been an advocate for Sebastian Stan playing Two-Face, and it's not just because of a different man, but it's kind of the persona of Sebastian Stan, the good-looking, two-sided, can play hero or villain side of a Sebastian Stan. And also, he is on his way to being an A-lister, right? And we have said that for years now, since pre-COVID, since, shortly thereafter Winter Soldier, that this guy has the makings to be an A-lister, and now he's taking steps. He has been taking steps to becoming one. Right now, this is a guy where he's been Oscar nominated now. All right, his role in the MCU is continuing. He is an Avenger. Dare I say, the leader of the Avengers,
The new event.
the new Avengers. All right, the new Avengers. Let's put an asterisk on that. But he's ready to take the next step after his Oscar. And he can't be Bucky Barnes forever. The DCU provides an avenue where he could still be a star, yet apply his new skill set as an all-around capital A actor. And a Harvey Dent role would be a juicy role for an actor looking to kind of blend the two there, right? And Sebastian Stan is a guy where not only does he have the acting ability to do it, he has the actual resume with other previous roles to do it that can kind of complement the dual role that Two-Face or Harvey Dent would play, especially under Matt Reeves. So, and there's a lot more comments that we could say, but I'll pass it off to you. It's very exciting, and it's very exciting because we bought stock at low prices on this guy, low valuations, and we could sell right now and make a shit ton of money. That's how low we bought it at, but we're not, because we have a lot higher hopes for this guy going forward still.
Harvey Dent. He has to be playing Harvey Dent. If he's not, I'll be devastated. If he's not, he must be playing another major villain, if not the villain for the Batman Part 2, whether that is Hush or whether it's another character that's featured in The Long Halloween, which it's rumored that this movie also will be adapting elements of The Long Halloween, the graphic novel, just like the first movie did. I agree with you. Like, this is an exciting casting following Scarlett Johansson, and it shows the ambitious nature of this sequel. Like I said, the casting of Scarlett Johansson felt so different from like Paul Dano, Zoe Kravitz, joining the cast. Colin Farrell is a big name actor. He's like in his prime right now. That's a big casting for the Penguin. But this is like Sebastian Stan is like a fully arrived type of moment where, yeah, he was Oscar nominated last year for The Apprentice. Before that, Different Man and The Apprentice, like both getting nominated at the Golden Globes. He's a guy that has shown his used like the MCU as kind of a springboard to a more serious career, a serious man, a more serious career. I think that when you go from Winter Soldier and we're like, holy shit, like he can do the blockbuster stuff, but then he can show a dark side. We see him and we've been on board since Fresh, you know, when he was in that fun horror thriller, the cannibal movie that he was in. He was stellar in that movie. And then seeing darker roles like Different Man, The Apprentice, and then him still sticking with the MCU. This is such a great blend of like prestige talent mixed with a guy who knows how to make blockbusters. And that's what Scarlett Johansson is too. So I think this movie is lining up. It's going to be bigger. They want a higher box office for the movie. I feel like there's going to be it's more of an infusion of new characters, and you already have a cast that's going to include like Colin Farrell returning as the Penguin, Andy Serkis as Alfred, Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon, but then Barry Keoghan probably returning most likely is expected to return as the Joker in some capacity. And obviously I brought up ScarJo probably playing Gilda Dent. This is such a great addition for a movie that wants to be taken even more seriously, get you more hype for it, because the internet was a buzz when Sebastian Stan took this on. And do you think he's ready? Like, you got to think he's ready now based on the filmography he has built, right? Following his stints in the MCU. I almost thought this casting was almost too on the nose. Like, it's too good to be true. When you think about him getting Oscar nominated for playing Trump, like the politician that he can play. Yeah, he played a politician in Thunderbolts. But like that doesn't really count. Like they didn't really show the chops. He actually was a bad politician in that. Harvey Dent, you got to be a little bit stronger as district attorney of Gotham City. But like he's played that, you know, different man. He's worn the prosthetics. He's done the duality type of physical role that maybe you'll get with him as Harvey Dent. You've seen the villainous nature in a movie like Fresh. It almost seemed like, this is like almost too much on the nose for me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, this is a fan casting type of role that
Yeah,
we have literally done before, and I think you literally asked me who would I want to play Harvey Dent. I think he was my first pick, and it's because of the fan casting where he's incredibly likable, like in Fresh, for example, and he's a good guy. You're rooting for him, but then ends up being the bad guy and a murderer, mass murderer, serial killer, right? That's Harvey Dent to a T. He's done that in Fresh. In A Different Man or The Apprentice, like the first half of that movie, I guess A Different Man, let's say, you're on his side and you feel bad for him, but then you obviously at the end of that movie, no spoilers, you watch that on HBO Max, he kind of turns into an asshole and also a villain, right? So he's a good hero gone villain, or vice versa with Winter Soldier.
he does it with every role. Every role he does it. Honestly, he's Two-Face, or you think one way and you think differently about him. You see one character at first for half the movie, then he's a completely different person afterwards. It's almost too perfect for him to be Two-Face.
So yeah, that's like the only problem with this is that it's so on the nose. But is it so on the nose that it's that good? Because like Jeffrey Wright, we kind of knew like that was a good Commissioner Gordon. You know, we knew that would be a good Commissioner Gordon. And then we say this a lot, just like, oh, like on the nose castings that actually pan out. You know, usually they don't. Like John Krasinski is Fantastic Four. That was kind of like like throw it at our face, like give us the slop a little bit. Like this is what you wanted, really.
Mhm.
So we see that and we're like, man, really wish it was out of left field. But then, like, I don't know, like I feel like some of these actually do work out, and he has the resume to back it up. Like I said off the top, so I am all in. I've been all in on Sebastian Stan. I have too much invested not to be. And the thing I want to just pivot to quickly here is he's 43 years old, right? Right around the age of who? Robert Pattinson, right? And also Scarlett Johansson, also around there. Okay. This is panning out pretty damn well with the age ranges and a younger side of Batman, right? And if we do want to go long Halloween, Scarlett Johansson playing Harvey Dent's wife, right? You could see that. You can see that. And those two, again, you don't cast Scarlett Johansson to not be in the movie or only be like a very minor role. You cast her to be a significant part of the movie, if not like a supporting role at minimum, like what Colin Farrell was in the first one as the Penguin and the Batman. So I could see a Long Halloween type of movie here where don't think it's gonna be a 1-for-1 because Matt Reeves, he didn't do a 1-for-1 in the Batman related to a specific comic. He took pieces of the comics and the younger Batman comics. I'm seeing we might do something similar with the Long Halloween and take bits and pieces of that in this one. And Sebastian Stan and Barry Keoghan coming back as the Joker also just kind of confirms, like, yeah, I think we're going to be in this realm again.
And I don't think we're going to get a confirmation from Matt Reeves until the trailer comes. And so they did a pretty good job with the set photos last time, the misdirection. I remember the Selena Kyle. Everyone thought it was Selena Kyle walking down the stairs, right? It was that funeral scene with Carmine Falcone. And they did a nice job of misdirection. And the thing is, like Paul Dano, we knew he was in the Batman. We didn't know who he was playing. Like when it was announced that he was going to be in the movie, And then we're like, who is the villain of the Batman? I think it was already reported that Colin Farrell was going to be the Penguin, but that he wasn't going to be the main villain. We saw that trailer for the Batman, that incredible teaser that came out when only a quarter of the movie got shot. One of the best teaser trailers in my lifetime. One of my favorites, if not it is my favorite trailer of all time. But we're not going to know until the movie comes out. We didn't even know Riddler was the villain immediately until we saw that question mark inside the coffee cup in that teaser trailer, So I think it's just going to be still us assuming that he's going to be Harvey Dent, but we're not going to get real confirmation unless it's a set photo that somehow leaks or the trailer comes. I think Matt Reeves kind of plays this stuff really close to the chest, and it really pents up I guess amasses a lot of hype because he does that and all that anticipation.
And like Paul Dano is another example where it's like he's an obvious Riddler or like serial killer type of casting. And they just made the Riddler into more of a serial killer than the Jim Carrey-esque type of Riddler, right? But he is an obvious, like, hey, you want this style of a performance, you cast Paul Dano, he's on the nose. And it worked, So I think Sebastian Stan playing like the two-sided character, trying to avoid a pun there, that's a good inclination to have. Now, again, I don't mean to pivot again, but let's say he's not Two-Face, right? You said it before. It seems like the other storyline other than the Long Halloween that is getting hints at here in the press, whether it's through Deadline or Variety articles and whatever reputable sources, is the Hush narrative, right? So could Sebastian Stan, if it's that, he would be the main actual antagonist in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
If that is the case, that is a significant jump for his career.
If you were like, that would make you the villain probably of the Batman.
But like, not only can he be like the villain of the Batman, the sequel to a movie that made $700 million. It
is clearly trying to be bigger than the first movie,
right? And he has all these stars in it. And if he is the villain, like Two-Face would not be the villain in this movie, most likely, right? In the way that we're thinking about it here. But if it is a Hush story, and he is Hush, holy crap, Sebastian Stan is on a different planet of stardom, if it goes well.
Yeah. Think about, villains in Batman movies, sequels, specifically the main villain in sequels. You think of the Joker. Like, that's what you think of. And like people are saying, Barry Keoghan, will he be, the main villain in this movie? I would say no. I would still say no. I think it's mainly because The Dark Knight is the Batman sequel that had the Joker. You can't have I know we had Affleck and everything, never got his own movie. You can't have the next trilogy of Batman movies have the sequel with the Joker again. You just can't do it. So I'm confident just ruling him out as the main villain. I do like the idea, the Hannibal Lecter like concept or theory that Batman could go see Joker, ask about these crimes that are being committed, similar to that deleted scene that we got from the first movie in the series. But I'll be excited either way. If he is like a Thomas Elliott or Two-Face, is he more lined up for Two-Face? Obviously, but as Sebastian Stan fans, I love the idea that he has like gotten to the point where he is the main villain of a Batman movie, and you got to credit Sebastian Stan for what he's done, the choices he's made. That he could have gone a way different route. right? He's making some interesting choices with movies like A Different Man, Fresh, and The Apprentice. You know, when he's making those choices, it shows that he has a darker side. He's not the bright, you know, and flowery MCU blockbuster fare only. He's a guy who is an artist, you know, and what is the franchise that where you can kind of go from blockbuster, but also flex acting chops, the most like superhero, the superhero franchise where you can actually accomplish that. Nothing better than the Batman.
And not only like you respect his choices because they're so risky. You know, he played Donald Trump in a movie in that election in an election year of Donald
Yeah.
Trump. You know, post everything that's happened his first term, and then obviously 2020, he went out and did A Different Man, which on the surface, again, pre A24 winning Everything Everywhere All at Once and becoming outside the independent studio, where it was an indie studio when he signed on for that, and was a very risky choice because that you could totally see that falling the other side and flopping, right? If you're not careful enough, right? Luckily, good filmmaker there and good performance. I still lean that it's kind of like a last Halloween arc where we're going to see a young Harvey Dent who's going to be friendly with a young Bruce Wayne because look at the ages. And Sebastian Stan and Robert Pattinson look younger than their age. And we just had a year 2 Batman. So I don't think we're going to have a significant time jump to be like, oh, 10 years later after the first Batman. No, we're not going to have that. We're still going to have a younger-ish Batman, maybe just getting into his prime. And we're going to, obviously, Harvey Dent was not in the first movie, and he was not the DA in the first movie. So we're going to have a younger Harvey Dent just getting into his prime. We could see the first time ever where Harvey on screen, film, theaters, full feature film, Harvey Dent and Bruce Wayne being friends. And where have we seen Sebastian Stan excel at being a friend in a movie, but then turn the MCU, right? Also on the nose. I could totally see that as well here.
And Sebastian Stan is a big name, but I think this movie is still holding back probably the biggest name in the cast, whoever the main villain is. If you see a name bigger than Sebastian Stan, then I will assume that is the villain for the Batman Part 2. You know,
we had the Brad Pitt rumors before.
That's what I mean. Like if I see a name like Brad Pitt, I'm like, that's the main villain for the movie, right? Whether he was rumored to be up for the Dr. Arkham, you know, part in the movie. And it's going to be a villain, remember, that we have not seen before in a Batman movie. So look out for that. If you see the bigger name, it's going to almost convince me more that Sebastian Stan is playing Harvey Dent. Any other thoughts you want to spill before we move on with the episode today?
No, I would just also say, like, not only is Sebastian Stan great at playing like a friend, like I just mentioned, or playing a hero and villain, right? Two-sided coin there, pun not intended.
Come on,
pun intended. Great at playing rich people or like people that are, again, like not just well off, but also like professional in like suits. He's very good at playing suits, whether it's in Dumb Money when he played the Robin Hood Tenev guy, Donald Trump, obviously,
like arrogant, like you know, like almost cocky character. Yes, confident.
Yes, he could definitely do that, and that will balance with a Bruce Wayne very well. Like in the you could totally see that as well. That's why like this on the nose thing again, like it's scary that it's actually happening. But again, like I feel like he has the resume to back it up versus like John Krasinski did not have the resume to back up playing the richest man in the universe. Oh, sorry, the smartest man in the universe in a multiversal story that would center around him, and he would have to carry the load of the MCU. That was on the nose, but as in like a fan casting, but he didn't have the resume to back it up. Sebastian Stan has the resume to back up this on the nose fan casting that we've been talking about for the past couple of years now.
Yeah, the Paul Dano was a good shout. Just the comparison that Paul Dano lined up too well to play like a Zodiac style, you know, introvert, someone who lives online, you know, that type of thing, sinister, like and like feeble, like physically feeble, but like mentally like a step ahead. That was perfect for Paul Dano, right? Just like this is perfect for Sebastian Stan, almost like too good to be true. We hope it's in fact Harvey Dent.